Get your tickets. It's going to be a bumper 3 weeks. Finals are just around the corner, and today we look at the 4 sides left in the running for the WAFL 2012 Premiership Cup. Claremont, Swan Districts, East Fremantle and East Perth are the best 4 sides in the competition and have the right to play finals this year. The WAFL competition has been extremely tight all year, and only the most consistent and the best sides will make it through to the grand final. To get the best opinion in the game, we speak to our own commentator, Phil Lamb. Phil, been a bumper season. Claremont have been the outright favourites for most of the year. Can any of the other 3 teams upset Claremont?
Oh, I think they can, Rod. You only have to look at 2010. A huge upset when Swan Districts got over the top of Claremont when they were the outright favourites. And after all, it is finals football, so upsets happen all the time.
Now let's start with East Perth. A good combination on the field. Let's look at their back line. Are they big enough to stop some of the power forwards in the competition?
They have got the biggest back line in the competition, there's no doubt about that, but some of them play taller than they actually look, and I was particularly pleased with Kyle Anderson last Saturday afternoon. I thought he did particularly well on Jack Anthony. He was given a big role but played it extremely well, but their strength in defence is really their run. Aaron Sweet and a few others that Sterling gives them some speed as well, but the way they run and carry the ball out of defence I think is the key.
Sampi really stepping up in that back line as well?
Well, he's the other one who's been around the place for a while, but his form is coming good at the right time of the year, and he's another player like Anderson who's capable of being given a tall player to play on and can do well in the air, and when the ball hits the ground, he's off and away.
Wolf, Comma, just a couple of the players in the midfield. Do they have enough leg speed to worry the other sides?
Well, they're not the quickest midfield in the competition, but I think Clutterbuck gives them some speed as well. We saw Payne play on Saturday against Subiaco, and he was very good as well. And I think the general skill range in the East Perth midfield is the key to them, as well as the experience of Wolf. He gives them a lot of it, and so does Gary Moss.
An ageing midfield, do they have enough pace?
Well, you know, pace is not everything. Ball-getting ability is the key, and with the ball winners that they have got, and Comma has emerged as one of the best inside players in the competition in the latter part of this season, in combination with the experience of Wolf and Moss, I think it's getting their hands on the ball first is the key to it, and if their leg speed fails them, then so be it. They won't die trying.
Josh Smith, what a power forward he's been all year. How's he going to come in the finals?
Well, he could be a real key for them. I mean, he is the powerhouse forward in the competition. His body strength is enormous. His fitness levels at times can create a bit of a question mark, but as a towering mark and a good kick, he's the one of the most reliable avenues to goals. Very consistent with his goal scoring, and he'll obviously be one of the players they'll be looking forward to.
They could be a smoky East Perth. Let's look at the other sides. East Fremantle have probably been up and down. Hard to get them on their week, but a lot of AFL players, how much of a difference are they going to make?
I think they're going to make a huge difference. I think Dalziel, who's had his injury problems during the course of the year, very skillful. His ball usage is absolutely outstanding. And when you look at it, they could have the likes of Jacob Brennan coming back to them as well. Whether or not they'll get the likes of John Griffin, who really knows what Fremantle are going to do through their finals campaign. But the availability is going to be a key, I think, as far as their AFL season players go.
The midfield been very solid, led by Mark McGough. We know how much of a big game player he is. Are they going to have the strength to pressure other sides?
Yeah, you're right. Anzac Day medalist a decade ago. His leadership and strength and stamina is a real key. I think their midfield on its day is capable of matching it with any, but probably like East Fremantle, the team itself, they haven't really been as consistent as Steve Malaxis would have liked them to have been. However, they're hitting form at the right time in the year. You just look at the way they disposed of West Perth in round 22, and I think that augurs well for their finals campaign.
The worst of the 4 sides probably for goal-kicking ability. Are they going to be able to kick enough goals to win?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at them through the course of the season, they've had some very big wins. They've lost games that they should have lost, and probably their losses have coincided with their inability to get the ball into the hands of goal kickers on the right days. Perham is certainly a player of the future. I think Henson can chip in and kick goals at ground level as well. Brock O'Brien's a specialist in the small forward category. I really think that they're probably a key forward short. And that may tell on them in the future when you look at some of the key forwards that the other teams have got, the lead-up players.
Brock O'Brien, I reckon he's the real barometer of the side. When he's up and going, East Fremantle seem to be at their best.
So he's really hard at it. He wins his own footy, doesn't rely on being given the footy by his teammates, although he's always available. But his real strength is that when he gets the footy anywhere near goal, he's very, very dangerous. He can kick goals, doesn't need a run-up. He's on his left boot, swings around and kicks some beauties.
Let's have a look at Swan Districts. Swan Districts surprisingly finished second last year, just avoiding the wooden spoon. Can they turn it around and make the grand final?
It was surprising since they were premiers the year before that, Rod, but just goes to show you football is a funny game, but they've been outstanding this year. It's been a terrific compliment, I think, to Greg Harding, the way that he's got his team back on track. I've said for some time now that Ash Hansen is their key. If he's up and about and playing well, they can win it. If he's not, they're going to probably struggle. But I've changed my tune over recent weeks. I really do think that their general method of play has become quite something, and it's up to the standard of the best of the other teams in the competition.
Greg Harding pushing the back line. It needs to be strong to win a grand final. He's been quoted as saying, Talon Ames, the real rock of Gibraltar back there, how much of an influence is he going to have?
Oh, fantastic, because he's going to play on the key forward in the opposition. I think that, look, he's an established and state defender, Talon Ames. I think one of Greg Harding's keys is he's able to have a bit of vision and see where other players can play and what they can do. He's put Justin Simpson back. I know he's no stranger to defence, but I think he's made him a very good defender this year. He's unearthed some good defenders in young Jared Blight as well, and with Wade Toomey and Kyle Hams providing the run, their defence is very, very good.
Ash Hansen, we know how much they rely on them. Are they a little bit one-dimensional?
I don't think so. I really think that with Ash Hansen and Tim Gapin, you've got the best key forwards in tandem in the competition. They complement each other very well. Gapin works up the field. He's got terrific stamina. Ash Hansen is your more orthodox lead-up forward, and he really does straighten the team up when they're coming down the field. He really does lead up the corridor. Tim Gapin is really capable of working the flanks, and I think that the way they complement each other is one of the real strengths of Swan District's forward line.
They've got the speed, they've got the back line, they've got the forward line. They must be a real chance.
Well, I think they are. When they won the flag in 2010 as the underdog, I think they come into this finals campaign in a lot more positive frame of mind, and it certainly wouldn't surprise me to see them cause another upset.
Let's have a look at Claremont. Claremont, they've got a team of champions. We've seen them play a lot of times throughout the year. They've got so much depth in the club. Is anybody going to beat them?
Well, I think it's very possible, Rod. As we know, finals football is unpredictable, but they are the benchmark. They've finished a game on top of the ladder. They certainly set the standard, I think, for brilliance in the midfield. They've got such a range of midfielders, and the way that they can move the ball, share it amongst each other and get it forward to Chad Jones, who's found some form over recent weeks, and Tom Lee, who I think has been one of the revelations in the WAFL this year. That is going to be a very, very dangerous combination for other teams to combat.
Mark Webb, the new coach and head of the best team in the competition, he's pushed a lot of the old players back into the back line. Crawford, Morton's playing there. These guys were forwards a couple of years ago. Is that the right move?
Oh, I think so, and it's been proven in their form. It's quite brave of Mark Webb, a first-year coach, taking on a successful team to make some of those moves, but it's all worked. He's got a good team with as far as his match committee goes, a lot of confidence. Of course, winning engenders more confidence, and I think he's probably got as settled a team as there is in the competition at the moment, and they play that way.
They've got more rotations available to them than probably any other side. We're looking at about 8 players. Blackwell, so many other players, good players. Is that going to give them an advantage?
I think it will, especially come finals time, when the pressure goes on, the tempo is more elevated than it is for just a normal home and away match. the temperatures can get up a bit as well, and the pace of the game is going to be such that rotations are so important. And as you mentioned, with Blackwell, Mitchell, Richardson, Shammer, and a few of those other, Murphy, and they have a wealth of that mid-range or mid-sized group of players, and the rotation of those is going to be a real key for them.
Phil, give us a quick wrap-up, who you think will win and who the smoky of the Final Four might be.
I think Claremont will win. I think they've been the best team all year. You mentioned that terrific group of rotation players they have at their disposal. I think that's going to be a real key to get the supply up forward, and once the opportunities are there for Tom Lee, Chad Jones, Andrew Foster is another one, Ian Richardson, and Paul Medhurst will be back come finals time. I think enough opportunities up forward will see Claremont get home.
And your smoky?
Oh, look, I'm going to go East Perth. And the reason I say that, I know that they've finished fourth. They've been up and down all year. I think sometimes a side that starts to play its very best football, you can peak too early in the home and away season. East Perth, I think, under the guidance of Tony McHale, the most experienced coach in the WAFL, I think he's going to have them cherry ripe come finals time. I don't know if it's been done since, but I do know that East Perth came from fourth in 1978 to win the flag. May not have been done since that day, and I reckon he might be aiming at repeating history.
Well, the finals look like they're going to be a beauty. I can't wait for it. Thanks for joining us.